Hello, beautiful souls. How is your journey going? Are you weary? Are you tired? Are you upbeat? Are you positive? Is this the highlight, the pinnacle, the downfall, the weak spot? Where are you on the journey? Check in. We're going to do that today, but self-assessment is absolutely everything. So where the hell are you right now in this period of space and time? Across dimensions, where are you? Are you high vibrational? Are you low vibrational? Are you in between? Are you happy? Are you fulfilled? There is a survey in the description that you can go to. You don't have to submit it, and it is a little bit timely, but it is the greatest way to self-reflect on your life using a positive psychological tool to do so. So feel free to dive into that if you wish, but first, I'm going to give you some insight for who this message is designed for today. First card coming out is the Rabbit. Now I'm connecting with someone who's nervous, who's worried. The Rabbit's out and the Two of Swords has come out. And I was like, okay, let me do this. Let me do this reading today. Let me deliver a message. I don't often come here, but when I do, I feel guided to. So with the Two of Swords, we're talking about a decision. And with the Rabbit coming out with that, we're talking about nerves around a decision. I'm nervous, I'm worried, I can't see. This is not a clear path. I like to do things that are absolutely self-assured, where I know the money's going to be right, the job opportunity is going to be perfect, the person, the roles. This person I'm connecting with is a novice, a student. You feel like you're infiltrating a network, you're infiltrating an environment that you're not used to being in. You feel unexperienced, you feel underqualified, you don't feel up there with the others. You feel like you're so small in the room when surrounded by others in this specific environment, but you're being pushed up the chain. Yeah, you're being pushed into a promotion, pushed up into a higher position in work. It's intimidating. Now, with that, I'll tell you what the cards are at the same time. If you are a tarot buff, you like to know the cards, and they may show up in your own deck, so it's always good for extra synchronicity, okay? But then the Tower's out. Now the Tower's coming out with the Starfish. We're using the Animal Oracle deck with this as well. So this is a nice mix of tarot and oracle cards. So I'm getting a grounded energy around you as a person versus the real world situation you're going through with the tarot. Because that Rabbit energy that's nerves, that's empathy, that's insecurity, that's feeling really, really shy and timid and withdrawn. And with the Two of Swords, we're then also talking about the inability to confidently know the way. Is this the right choice for me? But I see a lot of people around you who are a lot more grounded than you, guiding you forward. So this feels a little bit like nepotism. You're getting this may be harsh, but I'm going to say what I'm getting, or you may feel this way, but you feel like you're getting the job or you're getting the position because of who you know, who your friends and family are. It's everyone getting the promotion and going up the chain because you fit into the expectation and what these staff want. You know, some people don't employ based on merit or who's the best at the job. Some people employ people based on a range of different qualities, who they can really get on with, who they can mold the most, who they can shape the most. There's reasons people get employed and make it and don't make it. And actually, a lot of the time it is based on that manager's preference of who they would like to be most chummy with sometimes, unfortunately. You know? And sometimes we lose the foresight or the whole rung of what the job is really expecting of a person, and we just choose whoever's not closest to the senior leaders or the senior leadership team, whoever's licking enough arse or complicit enough to comply with what the boss wants, right? So there's all of that. And I think that there's expectation around leadership and who's in control. And I feel like you're putting yourself in the firing line. I didn't expect this reading to go this way. Stay with me, because I'm connecting with someone who's potentially being given a position in the senior leadership team within the C-suite, but it's based off a close tie or relationship with someone already in the team. They're the ones that's put your name forward. You've kind of skipped the process of what it means to get a promotion. Other people have potentially applied for this job, but you're getting fast tracked, one of those routines, because of who you are and your connections. Not that you haven't worked there for years, but you might not be the most qualified, or you don't really want the job even. You've just been encouraged to go that way because management know what they want in-house. And there's all these legal expectations of what they've got to do. You have to advertise for that job legally. You can't just go straight in-house and employ someone you know. That job has to go onto the open market, if we can call it that. So the job's gone out, but already management already know, no, we're going to make sure we fast track this person through. And all we've got to do is tick a few boxes on the quota form and scale that person a little bit higher, and then they've got the job. Yeah? Corruption exists in very small minuscule ways. So it's about understanding that and your role within that, and I think that's been uncomfortable for you. And not only that, there's this tower moment here. We're going to dive into that specifically because I feel like this is what's going on. You've been encouraged to do something, go in a very specific direction in your career by someone above you. This is tethered to money and affluence. You understand that being a part of this team is really, really significant for you and kind of what you wanted. I guess this is the only way you were ever really going to go in your career. But there is this tower moment around it being safe and right for you. Yeah, your honor and integrity is a lot higher than what you've been surrounded by. And you've put up with a lot of stuff and agreed with a lot of things that you don't really stand for at the core. There has been some dishonesty and disrespect and cunning, underhanded behaviours that you've been exposed to. So when you do officially become part of this team or this network, you are now one of these figures or associated with them, and your network is your net worth, I always say. But when I refer to net worth, I talk about health is wealth. So your fucking mental health and your emotional well-being and your ability to really flourish and wake up every day and be fulfilled in that job role is the real conversation and question we're having today. Which is amazing because it shows that you're conscious enough, wise enough, empowered by self enough to really go, wait, do I want all of this? Because it comes with a lot of clout and attention and more money, but is it all it's cracked up to really be? And is that going to fulfill you a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now? Or are you just joining a shitstorm of bullshit that's just going to spew around you again and again and again? And you're going to be smiling in meetings. Oh, yes, we're all lovely and amazing. Oh, yes, did you hear about that? You never really wanted to be that obnoxious, stuck up, snobby, arrogant energy, and that is a fear of yours, all right? So 6 of Wands coming out, King of Wands, 3 of Wands, 10 of Pentacles, King of Cups. I like it. I see a very, very powerful person. You may be a Leo. Listen to this. What I see coming out straight away is this really, really gorgeous energy of fuck it. I'm going to tell the truth. Fuck it. I'm going to stand on grace, honor, integrity, and that either is or isn't enough. This is the game changer in your life and in your career, because most people who do it for all the wrong reasons, they wouldn't say a damn thing about what the truth really is here and what you want. This is where you put your foot down and you negotiate. So I don't feel like you're worrying about financial negotiations or our negotiations. You're negotiating morality. And I think you're going to be the first person in history, whatever field you're walking into, to negotiate on the layers of integrity that is shown within the team. And whatever craft you're doing, whatever business, whatever career this is, you're pulling up with this expectation and this manifesto of integrity. I have this expectation of all of you in charge. If I'm joining you, this is your reputation. all the way from the top of the chain to the floor. This is our infrastructure. This is our hierarchy. This is our policies and procedures. This is our practices. And these are all the things that are actually fucking beneath us and not working. And all this negative shit I'm going to be tied to if I come in here. So let me know that I'm going to be liberated enough to handle all of this bullshit that you're encouraging me to come into, because I don't want to live in a world or become part of a team that has these toxic traits and qualities. And actually, if this isn't enough, or if this is too much, let me know now. Because it's kind of that enough is enough energy. Oh, you want me to be a leader in this environment? Well, actually, there's a lot of things I've got problems with when it comes to taking the lead here, because you are the only one in the firing line. You are taking the seat. What I get in my head, okay, is I watch a lot of Congress in the US, different hearings going on. When you take the CEO seat, yeah, you are put in the fucking firing line. You're the one that's got to pull up to Congress and be attacked by a whole load of senators. You're the one responsible for the company's everything. So the weight of the company is on you. So you need to be strong. You need to speak your truth. You need to go, all of these things are a problem here. And sometimes it's really, really awkward conversations. So, for example, bullying is a really awful thing. And bullying culture is easily prominent in certain working environments, especially when it's coming from the higher ups, and it's something that you can't really deal with. I also spoke about nepotism, didn't I? That's the role of getting employed because your family is there, and it's the family business, and it runs down the rung of family members getting employed, and we're all employing everybody we know and everyone we like. It's those kind of cultures that there's nothing wrong. There's an element of community and strength. That's a very old school way of evolving. Yeah, the monarchy, the royal family, their evolution is based on that in-house tight, gritted network of only the people we know. But within that, a certain kind of culture builds. And whoever started the culture, whatever behaviours were deemed acceptable then, they spread out across the network, and certain behaviours that shouldn't be acceptable within the environment become acceptable. And eventually it goes on unseen and no one speaks on it, especially the lower level staff. They'll never address it. And the senior leaders and the C-suite will never bring up any of these major problems unless it's HR specific. But then the law comes in, Congress, Senate, a hearing. Like the FBI, the director of the FBI is now sitting in front of Congress getting fucking drilled for hours. The CEO of Meta, the CEO of X, Twitter. Elon handed over his CEO seat to Linda. So she's got dragged into Congress. Serious governance and controls, legal wrapped around this. And there are experiences that I've seen in many different fields I've worked in, many different research experiences I've been aware of, read, investigated, studied, whatever. Just loads of different stuff in my mind about that kind of nature of not speaking on something because the culture would encourage you not to. That's also like being a rat and being a snitch. I've had past experiences where my upbringing would just be like, no, that's wrong, and I'll manage that and say, you can't do that. But then escalating that as a more serious situation that shouldn't happen, I'll pause back on, because I've still got maybe a little bit of PTSD or anxiety and stress, or I've been abused personally or beaten and hurt physically for snitching in the past. I know what it means to be a snitch or a rat or speaking out from childhood and telling the truth. So in that situation, shut your mouth and don't say anything. So that dirty, inappropriate culture continues to build. And then you get encouraged to co-sign certain kind of behaviours that are just not appropriate, full stop. And then, in the eyes of the law, When the law catches up with you, you're complicit. You're guilty by association. Yeah? What was I just watching the other day? I got through the first 20 minutes of it and turn it off because I cannot watch anything right now. My brain is just not taking anything in unless it's a cartoon. But Medea on Netflix, the episode where Medea took the family in for witness protection. I only watched a little bit of the intro of it, and it was just enough for my mind to start racing when the guy was the I wanted to say FTC, but I wanted to say FTO. There's a lot of different fucking acronyms flying around in my mind at this time. But either way, he was running the finance department, and he was working for a company that was laundering money through multiple different charities, and they employed him. This is a really crazy story, may I add, now that we're connecting the dots here. They employed him, gave him a promotion, and he felt like he deserved it and he earned it. And at the last minute, while the guy's shredding all of the documents of all of his fucking corruption and crime, he's going, yeah, you were the perfect person to employ. You were so naive, unexperienced, underqualified. You're the perfect person to sit in this seat. You didn't realise all the things that were going wrong in the company. So it was great for us. You're going to take the fall for this now. And everything the guy was saying, like, what do you mean? But I've been doing the accounting for years. He was like, yep, say that again on record. Can I record that? Say it again. And he was like, yeah, but I've been working here for years. The numbers are fine. Like, everything's like, they're like, say that again. Like, everything they're saying, recording it, keeping a record of it. And it's like the way in which people will use you for their own benefit. There's always a benefit when it comes to corporation and business and money, and anyone in the CEO, in the C-suite, in the senior leadership team. You've got to understand that the roles that everyone plays shifts because law and finance are predominantly the key factors. Human flourishing, ecological well-being, emotional well-being, mental health, the rights for staff, you don't really see that as a priority in business. I've been studying it for many fucking moons. And it is at the bottom of the rung significantly because it doesn't make money. Some incidents of some great entrepreneurs out there, they do give their whole company to the staff. One of the companies, I can't remember what it's called now, in the UK, the CEO who made it, multi-million-pound company, he's getting really, really old. And he's just handed over the whole company to his employees. The $1 million company now is going to be run by the staff for the rest of his life when him and his wife pass on. He hasn't let anyone else inherit it. He's created a really interesting infrastructure of when I die, everyone who's employed here will run the company through a range of different kind of protocols, and they will all have shares and stocks, and there's this incentive for all the employees to keep the company going based on performance on the floor. Fucking sensational. I'm gonna have to find out what company that is now, because I would like to follow their journey over the next decade, 20 years, considering we love industry over here and we're in for the long run, and to see how well that company flourishes, because I bet it does. Because actually taking the data from the floor and carrying it up to the top of the chain is the only way to really assure sustainability, consistency, full round awareness. But no one wants to hear from the little people most of the time. Yeah? Why do we want to hear about the cleaners concern about the cleaning products that she uses and the gloves that she uses and the hours that she works, the clashes with the gatekeepers who open the door, and the hours that she has to wait outside when her card's not bleeping through the machine to get in. Little things like that that shift efficiency and improve mental health and well-being of a member of staff who's got to clean the whole bottom floor of the building and only talks to security and the caretakers. I mean, there's a lapse in management in these kind of spaces, which is even more interesting because robots are coming in now, and whether or not any of these fucking people will be needed is a whole other question entirely. But so I guess ecological well-being and human flourishing is kind of like, do we still fucking need it? Because half of these fucking humans are going to be on the dole anyway. So that's a whole other conversation. But bear that in mind if you are in the tech industry, or furthermore in any industry. do question at a time like this, what's next for you in your position when machines are waving in? Can the machine do your job? Because if you're going to take this seat and you're going to move in this direction, how long can you do this for? And in what ways could the machine do what you're doing? What is the predominance of your role, and how much of AI can do that? In 2 years, in 3 years, in 4 years, in 10 years. So that way you know what's going on, because more and more people are going to be getting laid off in every single sector you could imagine for a cheaper alternative, okay? We actually even have the first, AI-run schools, AI teachers, yeah? I come from an early years background. So imagine my mind absolutely blown when I knew I had to come in this direction in my career, to then see it play out this way and realise the struggles that they've already faced in the education sector when I was in it, versus now with the ideas that teachers are going to be in AI teachers are going to run all the classes. So there's a whole sector getting wiped out because of this. Childcare providers versus teachers, and the ratios and what's really needed in the environment shifting in major ways. And that works in so many different sectors as well. Okay, so you're being encouraged to speak up, sing your truth, go in, boss up. If you've got to do an interview, go in and go for the interview and show this authoritative side of self. Show up as the person that you want to be in this role. Walk in and go, this is who you are getting as whoever you are, whatever that label is that you're applying for, that job that you're applying for, show up as that. Because do not rest on your laurels and show up as that fragile, young, naive version of self where you pander to what the manager wants. Let them know that you're coming in with a strong agenda. They've already pushed you up the chain for this position, so it's yours. Come in and show them, I'm not going to be a little punk bitch, and I'm not going to come in here and be a yes man, and I'm not going to come in here and be a puppet and have the weight of the world on my fucking shoulders, have legal on my back, take responsibility and ownership over all of this, while you spoon feed me narratives that that come from no experience or no hard graft at the level that I'm at, because you're not here. I'm the one doing this. I'm the one putting myself on the line. I'm the one doing the long hours. I'm the one in negotiations every day. It's who you work with versus who they work with. So I see a whole team on the floor, a whole team across the office, a whole department that you're running, versus them just sitting on the board telling you stuff. It's unbearable when you have people in a position of power that are just sitting there dictating output and what they say you need based on their data sets, their graphic novel, I want to say in my mind, their demographics, their need and demand, versus the actualization, the actual reality, the practicality of what is happening on the floor. So you need to be aware of how to translate and transverse from what you are managing versus what you're being asked to manage. And you are now in a higher position where you have to be able to teeter and totter between the demands of what management and the powers above you demand, because they are looking at figures. They are what the data that they're looking at is on the right. More than likely, you're on the left. So you need to, your team, everyone underneath you is on the left, and that potentially everyone underneath you fucking hates whoever is managed by you as well. So that sounds fantastic. So you have to be that go-between, and you are destined to be that go-between. This is a beautiful life for you, but this is where you have to become the realist version of yourself and not hold back and not pander to what either side want. Keep it straight down the line. Be transparent and honest. Don't feel like you have to lie to either of the team. Like, you're not going to lie to management, but you're not going to devalue your staff team and what they tell you in confidence as a manager, versus also you're not going to be complicit in skirting around statutory guidance, policy and law, and upstanding the highest levels of integrity and moral responsibility that is needed to do the job. Because corruption needs to be rooted out. And you need to be integritous enough to challenge any levels of that. And that's rising more and more, unfortunately. When I'm talking about harassment, I keep thinking about Pete Hegseth. He is the leader of the secretary for the Department of War in the United States, and he's just done a speech recently where he spoke lengthily about changing like the status quo within the Department of War, where bullying and hazing and even physical violence, physical abuse, the way in which subordinates can be treated in the army is going back to the older school days. And he's like, we can't say the N-word. We're not allowed to say the N-word. We're not allowed to talk down on men. We're not allowed to shout in people's faces or push them around a little bit. We're not allowed to do all this stuff. But we need to get back to basics. So he's basically saying we're going back to the days where we bully people. If we think you're shit and you're the slowest person out on the field to complete the obstacle course every day, we're going to shit on you. We're going to make you cry. We're going to blast you in the showers like the old school rituals in military. Real horrible shit. That's the severity of it. And that's coming back, publicly declared by Pete Hegseth. But that exists in every single field. Every single culture, every single C-suite, every single senior leadership team. The culture is everything. Certain cultures, you will be stonewalled by a very tight grip management that refuse to waver on what they've created. Management structures that have been in place for 20, 30 years. And anyone new that comes in, we will not budge. Anyone new that's come in to tell you the truth and be part of a team, nope, we're a stone wall, you will not get past us. We are in charge, you are a subordinate to us, and you do this. Creates major fractures in the team. Creates clear divides between who is the boss and who is in charge. Either way, a lot of this stuff isn't even a legal issue. It's just choice, culture, which sometimes is very disgusting. Sometimes culture is, there's a lot of racism in this in this school. The blacks stay over there, the whites stay over there. Some people don't even talk. Culture, would you believe it or not? That's culture. I'm being told that this is culture, and it's not really a legal issue. Disgusting. Bullying is so common here that we just ignore it, and we all agree to it actually, and we're actually in trouble a little bit about this bullying. So if you could all sign a document to say that we don't bully you, even though there are well documented events of absolute bullying of multiple members of staff, to either get them out of their position, to tear them down, to manipulate them, and actually when you go out of your way to get someone out of their seat or fire someone. I don't want this person, I want them out. Get some dirt on them, yeah? A lot of dirty, corruptive habits of, if you want to be on the team and you want to be in management, I need you to create a log and observe this person. I want you to get dirt on this person, build up data on this person. I want this person out. Do whatever you can to get this person out. The stuff I have seen that has been so corruptive is just devastating, and it becomes culture, and it becomes norm, and everybody knows about it. Everyone talks about it hush hush in the corridors or at the water machine, but no one actually has the fucking balls to deal with it until it hits law, government, until it makes the big news. Then everyone's starting to backtrack and wiggle around, and then someone's going to get in trouble. Who can we blame for this? Yeah? Remember, whoever's at the top running the show with the most liability, they're going to want to blame the intermediary. And that's you. Whoever I'm connecting with, you are the intermediary here. And that's scary. I say that because where we're at in today's society, the intermediary is being abolished across all sectors. So when I said you may have a job that can be wiped out entirely and be done by AI, I think it can. So not only are you now fighting for your independence in this role, you're also a test subject in the O1 for whether or not you are even going to stay on beyond a decade, and you're going to have this job for the long run. Because the intermediary role that you currently have and that you're applying for now, it's not going to be needed in 3 years. 3 years from now, this job's not going to exist. So you're going to either move up the chain or go somewhere else. But what you're being advised to do is make a hell of a lot of money right now. Okay? So also with this deal on the table and what's going on, you want stocks, you want shares, you want bonds, you want whatever you can get from this job, whatever the package has been given to you. I would take it all. I would push for the highest amount of salary. I'm being absolutely honest with you now, because everything I'm seeing here and everything we've just spoken about, get your fucking just desserts. Is that the right phrase? Yeah? Get everything you can. And if there's a limit on this contract, fixed term, 3 years, and get out. 3 years and walk. I don't know who this is for. I don't know what this is about. I'm giving you what I'm getting, and this is really, 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 really fucking intuitive. Really intuitive. 3 years, take all the money you can, get out. Fixed salary over the next 3 years with whatever benefits, whatever shares and whatever rights you can have. If you could be on the board, if you could be a director, if you could have spin-off businesses that are come off the back of this, and you build your own AI, your own technology, your own department, your own HR, whatever, go and do that. There's something here destined for you. This job will take you 3 years forward. You will take all the money you can from that. Bonuses I see as well. Make demands for bonuses, dividends, like, you know what kind of field you're in and what you can get access to. Take it all, please. Take it all. Because the future isn't smooth sailing and easily assured for someone like you in your position. That's why you're nervous. Because you are an intermediary, stuck in one of the most awkward fucking positions of your life. The AI will eventually come and take over. And you go ask them at the interview, and they'll be like, no, there's no chance that AI is going to take over your job. No. No, you're in for the long run. You're one of us. But everyone else is on the board of directors. Everyone has a seat. Everyone else has more control. Everyone has shares. You're not. If you haven't got the same as everybody else here, and everyone else has made their own deals, and you're still distant and removed and don't attend certain kind of meetings that they do, then you're not them. And they can make you feel like you're one, but you're not. And you're at risk. Yeah? So take that advice. Not only that, keep being emotionally intelligent as well. Yeah? A lot of the time, people who are overly emotional are looked down on. Even more so when you are emotionally intelligent, surrounded by people that are emotionally numb. They will laugh at you. They will undermine you. They will say you're not strong enough. They will play on your weakness. If you have a boss who is narcissistic or numb to any kind of emotion, they have to speak about different management techniques, toxic management. If you've got that, like, I'm just saying that so you understand character roles. I don't see major toxicity in management, may I add, but we're talking about different roles that we all play and how easy it is to put on a toxic hat if worse comes to worse, right? If you're getting sued in major ways, someone needs to get blamed and someone needs to take the fall, and you will see toxicity rise because we're in the shit, and you see who people really are when it comes down to it. And when the company's at risk and the business is at risk, you will be shot in the head for survival. Apocalypse style. Zombies, we're talking. Yeah? So with that in mind, King of Cups, Mother of Cups, right? So King and Queen of Cups right here together. It's about you connecting with others in the company that are emotionally intelligent. Because your mission and your destiny, your drive, your purpose, why you're here, is rooted in your emotional intelligence. Being integritous, having morals, standing up for what's right. So connect with the staff that also do that, and the team members that do, and lean on those with that level of integrity, and be aware of who don't have that. You've worked in the team long enough to see who is integritous and who isn't, who you can rely on, who you can't, who has gone around and done dirty, underhanded things. So you can see the corruption in the team, you can see the underhanded behaviours, you can see the lies, and you can see the bullshit that has occurred over years. So refrain from going into the environment where that's going to keep occurring, and create a healthier culture. It comes down to you to improve what you see. Yeah? There's a lot you haven't spoken on, ever, to a lot of these people that are pushing you up the chain into this position. now is the time to really, really keep your eye on absolutely everyone. And obviously you're not going to go in there and blast everything out and say everything exactly as hardcore and awful as it may be in certain departments that you represent, but your eyes are very much aware of what would be justice in this company. Justice for you, justice for the staff, justice for the ascension of this company if they are moving towards a more tech-based style of working in the future, and whatever changes are coming over the next 3 years. Yeah, so whatever's happening in 3 years from now, very, very significant. 2028, there's going to be a major shift here, and that's going to impact your life and your role. I think potentially getting in here now, doing this, you will be on the board and you won't even have to work anymore, because you'll just be on the board of directors and you'll be a chair. You'll have a very different position whereby you won't even need to do the hard work you're doing, but you do have 3 years to set the groundwork and do the actual work. And you need to be able to observe who, this is where you become analytical, who you can or can't sign off on in regards to integrity. So this gives me HR, this gives me legal, this gives me abuse of power, this gives me the ones in the meeting that make jokes and laugh about failings in the team. Oh, like, you know, when they mock a staff's opinion or they knock down a member of staff, like when the culture's just to piss on someone else who's an employee, the annoying employee, the Karen, oh, they're moaning again, oh, they've done this again. When that's the culture to laugh and mock and disrespect an employee in higher level board meetings and in conversations, it's just a really way to go in business. Because if you had enough integrity, you wouldn't tear that person down. You don't work with them. You're choosing to hate them, and you're promoting hate in the environment. Yeah? And that's not how to be a healthy leader. Going around shitting on staff that you don't like, that's not a healthy management style. Because now you're actually promoting other people to hate that employee too. You're breeding an unhealthy culture that will filter down, and you're teaching other people to be toxic, basically. So there is this need to keep moving in a positive direction, and this is where you see, this is what I'm getting in my head. Look at the staff that laugh at that joke, because they're the ones that are going to be complicit in crime. Look at the staff that don't laugh. When they make an inappropriate joke, and it's a racist joke, it's a sexist joke, it's a homophobic joke, it's an absolute slur or form of abuse against an employee, yeah? It's it's promoting a culture of bullying, it's an ideology that's toxic. See who does or doesn't laugh or co-sign it or chummy up to the manager in that moment. Because that's where you go, okay, we can see that these motherfuckers over here are 101 team corruption. Versus the ones who don't laugh because they know it isn't funny and they have a higher moral compass than the others. You're probably the ones that are going to be the most divisive in the team, and often you probably wouldn't even be invited into the network because we only let people into the crew who laugh at our jokes, who co-sign our bullying culture, who think that our behaviour is acceptable when it isn't. You know? So you put yourself in the firing line, but the honesty of it is the way. Because anyone who's smart enough in these senior positions and C-suites will know that we have to weed out toxic culture. And if you identify the toxic culture and are prepared to work on it, you do kind of put a target on your back. But you've already got a target on your back from the left, who already have a lot of contention towards management anyway. So you're best off fucking target me to the left, target me to the fucking right, put me in the middle then. At least I'm going to fucking learn something. And I actually do not advise that because I've actually been in that situation many a times, studying well-being. And I'm telling you now, when you put yourself into the intermediary role fully and you're iced out from you're stonewalled from the left or stonewalled from the right, yeah, or at least stonewalled from management while carrying the weight of the world for the rest of the team, it's a very difficult thing to balance out, yeah. my earliest forms of research, and all my kind of well-being research since then, is always this major divide between the mass staff, the mass pop, which is the heavy body of staff on the floor, versus the hierarchy and the top of the chain that often will just stonewall you when you start bringing up really, really serious issues. And you have to go in with emotions. A lot of the time I'd done this, I was way too emotional because I had not enough experience, to be quite honest with you. I went into these arenas with a lot of heart and purpose and dream for these well-being roles, but I never really felt worthy of the role. I was quite like the rabbit, actually. I went into some of these roles really naively and really got taken advantage of because management, senior leadership, C-suite made it clear, you're not one of us. Because you're kind of like HR, you're the enemy, you're the intermediary. If you've got one of those roles and you're in the middle and you've got to be the voice for the staff that always seem to be complaining and don't just shut up and do their fucking job, then you're fucked up the arse. Because some management structures like you to lick arse and be perfectly okay with all the bullshit they spew. And sometimes they have no experience of what it even means to be in the role that you're in. They just puppeteer you to be the servant in the moment, to get everyone on board and everyone to agree and nod and smile like life's okay when it isn't, and you know it, because the staff team that you work with, fucking 100 teams strong or 20 teams strong, the truth of the matter is they've all made it abundantly clear where they're at and how they feel. And then you've got to be able to convey that back to the team of 6 or the team of 2. Who just go, whoo, phooey, fuck that, who cares? Oh, well, they're getting paid. Do they want to be here? They can quit if they're not happy. Not the culture you want. Not the life that you want. Okay? So it comes down to you to really make a clear decision about what you want for your life over the next 3 years specifically. And that's going to be money. I can't believe I'm coming here with this real emphasis on commitment to money and your independence and your career. Yeah? If everyone, and this is harsh, and I'm just going to say it though, and then I'm going to leave, but if everyone here is doing what they want to do and chasing money for themselves and going about it in this way, so will you. Play them at their own game. And the truth of the matter is, 10 of Pentacles, 9 of Cups, the Star, Page of Cups, 2 of Pentacles, you are independent in this role and whatever experience this is. Take the ball by the horns and move towards this wish fulfillment. You had a lot of wands coming out. You're really passionate about this. You're perfect for the job. This is perfect for you. But it's about you healing your relationship with every single person here, because you don't need toxicity coming in, and you don't need to be you don't need a leash around your neck being dragged around by your superiors and whoever's in charge of you. Yeah? You don't need to be going, master, can I do this? Master, can I do that? You need to feel liberated in your own role so you could do it effectively. Yeah? Then there seems to be apologies that need to come out as well. There's been conflict, right? Really, really serious kind of conflict that's occurred in the past. Things that you haven't been happy with. Things that have weighed on your heart. Things that make you taking on this job role really, really difficult and upsetting. There's this cold, icy person here that maybe you're never going to get an apology from, or that you want to apologize. There's conflict that has been going on for years, that you have been a part of, that you have seen, that you have engaged in. And the truth of the matter is, you were young when you got involved in this toxic kind of behaviour. I say toxic really a bit too forcefully. There's healthy culture and good ecological well-being, and then there's subpar. The standards here have been really subpar. A lot of toxic, unhealthy management styles, behaviours, going about stuff, even if it's just conversations in the staff room or the meeting, or little sneaky things that are happening behind the scene. Like the examples I gave earlier on, there's been corruption here. Yeah? You've been complicit, I can only assume, in some of the underhanded tactics that have gone on in business. And that may not be a legal issue, but when it comes to morality and integrity and respect for everybody else, there's been lacking there, because it's about getting ahead. If you do this, you can get ahead. In some companies, It's, I'll give you a promotion if you do this. I know people personally that have been offered promotions or encouraged to get further up the chain if they grab dirt on this person, ruin this person's career. Yeah? I know people that have been targeted, and I've also been a target and had that target on my back. That's what allowed me to grow up and become the person that I am today, because I've seen toxicity firsthand and I've experienced what it means. I know how much it hurts to love what you do. But if humans don't follow a certain behavior style that is needed in the corporation, they become a target. Yeah? And they will constantly be the target until they either leave, they get pressured out, or someone finds a way to get them out. There's always some kind of policy or guidance that we're looking at to try and find a way to ruin this person's fucking life, or give them this sanction or whatever to accelerate issues with this person, to get them out, give them a shit reference. Yeah? Refuse to, and you're not allowed to give people shit references. There's a lot of laws and there's a lot of way around laws. Let's just say that. Yeah? A lot of toxicity and stuff like that. So there's your awareness of that and your decision to really let go of the past and take ownership of whatever you've been holding on to that you know hasn't been right. Because you could have been losing sleep over this. And you could be really, really burdened by the decisions that you made. But you were really young. Yeah? There's a lot of situations now as a leader when I look back and I go, I could have stood up and really dealt with that. And address that issue. And I dealt with it at the level I was at, but I could have taken it further. But I didn't want to be a snitch. I didn't want to be a rat. I didn't feel comfortable even with management to speak on that. I felt unsafe because the culture was unhealthy, and I didn't want to become part of this social group that was let's laugh at the peasants that do that, you know, because there's this hierarchy of they're the peasants, and if you come and you snitch to us and you rat to us and you ruin someone else's career or life, then you're one of us now. You're accepted into the cool clique. Yeah. And a lot of people will happily do whatever they can to be accepted into the cool clique, because you want a promotion, you want to make it, you want to be in with the managers. That's what everybody wants, right? But at the end of the day, I think you are going to learn what you do or don't tolerate and what you're willing to walk away from over the next 3 years, and take on this new opportunity, get the experience, get that on your resume, get that on your CV, get whatever benefits you can from this role, and then hopefully 3 years from now, you could be on the board and you could be getting money through dividends or whatever you do, or working 1 day a week, flexible working, or management across hubs, I want to say, sectors where you haven't got to deal with the job that you've had, and you can have a lot less contact and communication with whatever these issues were from the past, because you seem to be still quite haunted by the decisions that you made that upon reflection they weren't really integritous. You could be someone who's found God over recent years, or you're more spiritual now than you were before. Or you've just matured. You've matured, and to look back at your life, you can go, my gosh, I can't believe the toxic things I've done to get ahead, or what I've been exposed to, or the culture that's kind of been breeded here because of this, because I let this happen. And actually, I've been a part of a lot of, I want to say, coups, takedowns, yeah? I want to go into so many examples of personal things I've seen that I'm not going to say, but I have the amount of times that I've been alerted to, can I call it a coup? Yeah? This person's been sent a secret operation to get this person out. This person. Imagine people coming up to you in all the years you've worked somewhere. People are coming up to you on a frequent basis with a fucking clipboard, paper and pen, or a little notepad going, right, I'm working on a secret operation by the orders of this person at the top of the chain, and they want dirt on this person because they want them out. I don't want you to say anything about it, but can you sign this, or can you start observing this person and get me dirt on them? Why? What they done? supposedly this or that, or this or supposedly. They haven't done fuck all. Why are you doing this? This is me training to get the lead position here. Well, isn't that a beautiful way to go? You're in training to be in charge, and you're on a secret operation to tear down other professionals, and sometimes they are your opposition in also being in charge, because you're not the only one being sold this dream of being in charge. And in a lot of these sectors, there ain't enough seats for all of you, so they've got to keep you complicit and motivated, and give you reason to feel like there's a pathway for you here. Otherwise you're stagnant and stale in certain industries. You can only go up the chain so high. What do you do when you make it to the top of the chain and there's no more seats left? If they don't let you onto the board, where you going? You know? And that toxic shit is what drove me into this place anyway, because I never belonged. I'm autistic, I'm on the spectrum. Didn't know it at the time in a lot of these places I worked in. I didn't know I was autistic. I didn't know I had special needs. But obviously, I mean, you work with children and you run around and act like an idiot all day. It can easily be missed, right? Act like a big kid all day because you work with children. You miss the signs. Well, I'm sure other people could tell I was absolutely weird and atypical, but I missed the signs even in myself, even though I was working predominantly with autistic children, because I was amazing at it, because I understand how they work, because I am one, right? But it's about that awakening, right? And that maturity of it. I didn't realise who I was, or how I behaved, or what I did or didn't do, or how different I was to everybody else, or the path that I chose, yeah? A lot of relationships is well changed from honest conversations like this, because then you started to realise, this is really toxic for me to say, right? But an example I'll give, and I've worked across so many different settings in my time, and just spoken to people really honestly, and just built really healthy, positive relationships. Sometimes I was only in these places for short windows at a time. Sometimes it's been a long experience. But either way, you build rapport, and you have real honest conversations with people, and you open up emotionally. I've got no problem wearing my heart on my sleeve and telling people who I am and what I've been through and what I see and what I believe and what I want for the world and what I want for the group we're working with, the children, if we're doing profiles, if we're talking to people, whatever the case may be. So in these kind of situations, well-being wise, you start having conversations, and this is what's really, really divisive, and what really, really kind of has created the most obstacles in my career when doing this as an employee for someone else, is you start having honest conversation with the staff that they've probably never been able to really have before, and you start realising that actually all of you four, actually all of you six, you've all been sold the same dream, and you've all been pitted off against each other. And the truth of the matter is, you have no idea that the other person is also being told to do the same thing against you. So the example I gave you, where that person has been given a secret operation to tear down the person that is in competition with them for their if you tear that person down for me, get enough dirt on them, then we can get them out and you can have their role. That person who done that and came to me in confidence and shared that with me had no idea that that same operation was being run on them. How disgusting. So this person's being sold a dream, really wants a promotion, really believes that there's an issue with this other employer because they don't get, other member of staff because they don't get on. They've now been told to run a secret op on them and get anyone they can on board and get any dirt they can. But I've also realised through the grapevine that the same operation is being run on them because someone else has already come and told me that. That's also the burden of being empathic and being a really good leader and communicating well with staff and asking the right questions and prioritising ecological well-being and having an intermediary role and being somewhat HR, because then you get slapped in the face with a fucking wetfish. The truth hits you and you're like, fuck. That person doesn't even know that this operations have going on. Like the example I'll give, and we'll leave this here. Firstly, the manager has not a clue that I now know that they're running ops on 2 different fronts. I haven't snaked the manager and told the manager that they're, or either of these members of staff, that the manager's running secret ops on them. I've kept that to myself. But not only that, I have not told that member of staff that the person that they are trying to get out is also is trying to get them out. Versus another member of staff is also doing the same thing because they've been called into a meeting. So everyone's getting called into meetings to run secret ops to take other people out. Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting culture in certain environments, and it happens all too frequently in loads of different environments. And that nepotism again is a real thing, because in multiple different settings I've been in, it's we all work together at the same company for years, and we all come in through this doorway, and actually some of us are not even qualified by other community standards, by other social standards, by other setting standards. We can get away with you guys not being qualified, and all you need is this qualifications to get that, and I'll let you in the door because I'm the gatekeeper here. Messy situation. Sometimes it feels quite nice to be able to know that AI is coming in, because it's like, fucking hell, at least we can increase the level of integrity through the system, because the humans clearly lapse in certain areas. No offense, humans. Hence why we have human flourishing surveys in the description. Please click now. Right, I'm going to leave it there. We didn't expect this reading, quite intensive. I'm going to do a zodiac or 2. I feel guided to do a Leo reading, I don't know why, but I feel like I want to label this Leo too. So we will see, okay? But love and light to you. Have a very, very gorgeous week ahead. When I give these messages, this is quite a full one this week as well. I'm not going to say take it with a pinch of salt, but understand who you are. Understand I'm just a voice in a box talking to you here now through a device. You know your reality. You know your life. I'm quite intensive when I talk, and I hate the ideology that someone will take this and live by word, because this isn't word. You are the power player in your life. You are in the power seat. I do not know you. I have no idea who you are or what you do for a living. I'm going off the symbolism that comes from tarot and oracle cards and using my clairvoyance and intuition. That's it. So you're the powerful person here. So whatever resonates, you take that and you use that to power you forward and give you the strength to be the most amazing version of you. Yeah? That's all you ever can do in life. Yeah? Go forth and prosper, my friends. You are the power player here. Love and light.